But why was the right time for both of you to come together, put this book out? Did something trigger something inside both of you that said, we need to put this book out now?
For me, actually, it was the Paul Heyman DVD when I first ever even considered it, because there was just so much stuff out there that I thought, wow, none of that's ever been cleared up. Nothing's ever been told the truth about. I mean, he let that work last for 25 years. Are you kidding me? I was stunned by that. And that was actually the last time we spoke. We spoke up until that point. And in terms of Sean, he was always trying to get me to do a book. And I said, no, I'm not doing a book. He's got to do a book. And we would just sit on the phone. I'd tell him stories. He'd say, this is a story. This has to go in a book. I go, I'm not doing a book. I did some DVDs together with him. We had a great, rapport there, but I didn't want to do a book. I just want to be hang out, be friends. Finally, he talked me into it, and this was the right time for it. Time to clear the air. And again, like he said, every DVD, every book that came out, the unauthorized story. You know
Yes.
why it was unauthorized? They never spoke to me once. How do you do a rise and fall of a company my company, and I'm not including it, even interviewed? Joey Styles, never interviewed. Shane Douglas, never interviewed. I mean, it was absurd. It was just going to be the WWE slant and the three or four guys that were like their mainstays from ECW, their slant, which is fine, but there was a lot more going on than just what they had to say. So it's time to clear the air, bring some funny stories up, and there are some funny stories, trust me, and write a book.
Outstanding. Now, Sean, years of convincing, why was now the time for you to finally put down and say, we have to do this?
Well, Todd was comfortable hanging out and just being friends after the DVDs. I, of course, can maintain no friendships in my life if they're not in some way a business relationship. So I said, Todd, if you're going to continue to be in my company, I need a financial stake in this. No, quite honestly, the first DVD we did together was an edition of Timeline, the history of ECW, and we covered 2 years, 92 and 93, which was really, the inception of ECW as we came to know it. And it was a double DVD. There was so much we covered, and I just felt that was just 2 years. And it was a 3.5 hour DVD. I was like, God, there is just so much more. And the more we talked, and the more I would say that Todd trusted me and came to know that I wasn't somebody who would be loose with my lips. He was telling me some of the things that were counter to what I had accepted as truth, because I saw the rise and fall and I saw all that stuff too, and just accepted that. Of course, I knew Todd's role in the company, but I thought he anointed Paul somehow, with a wand in '94, and then Paul picked it up and ran with it. I didn't know the half of what had gone on. So the more nuggets Todd gave me, I would say to him, Todd, this is a book. Why won't you tell this story? I saw an interview he did with Francine, and her mind was blown about one of the details involving the famous mole story. Again, we've all come to accept Todd was a
Yes.
mole. And she never knew that Paul was complicit in that mole story as a way to keep the locker room galvanized when they were starting to fracture. And Todd, I see your eyebrows. You didn't know that either. And Todd is good enough. He had already removed his financial stake from the company, but he went along with it and he stayed there because the guys and the girls that were working, if ECW went under, they were going to lose their job. 80% of the people on that roster weren't going to WWE. So Paul asked Todd, would you go with this story? Let us galvanize us against the world again. We're fractured. This will pull us together. And Todd agreed to be the real life heel.
Wow. Yeah, I think he just blew my mind, just like Francine, because that was one of the questions I've had for years. Was the story is, he's getting WCW, he's going to WCW, and he's going to bring ECW people with him. Todd, that's the story that was out there for so long. So for so long, this story was just fabricated to create the friction between the boys in the locker room and the rest of the world. Correct?
No, not exactly. You have to understand, it was always us against the big guys. We were the little engine that could. Us against WWE, us against WCW. We were shooting at them, and we were trying to, equate ourselves with them. So what happened was things got bad when a certain point around 96, 97 in the locker room. What used to be this great family loving atmosphere in this locker room had become this splintered group where here was the New York crew over here was the Philly crew over here was a guy who had his own belt and he made up for himself and his own championship over here. I mean, the whole thing was really getting bad. Everybody's coming to me and saying, look, you help Public Enemy. Can you help us? Can you get us in the WC? Like, get us a job somewhere. Like, I can't live like this anymore, worrying about whether or not I'm going to be able to get a check that clears. I can eat my dinner. You know, I don't want to buy anything. I'm deathly afraid. So, you know, I said, Paul, I said, you're losing these guys. They want me to, you know, I'm going to make the phone call. He goes, no, what's going on? He goes, wait a minute. I've got a brilliant idea. Because you're leaving anyway, right? Yeah. How about there's a mole in the company and I can get this whole locker room back together against all of us, against whomever. Now we've tightened the ranks again. Look, I wanted the company to succeed. I wanted to go on forever. You know what I'm saying? I was still getting paid, you know, my money out of it. No, it wasn't just financial out of it. It was, you know, whatever it took. My best friends are there. They're still my best friends. Sandman, Fonzie, Sabu, Scorpio. I mean, these are people I talk to like religiously. We're that close as a group. So basically, he went with that. I went with that, and of course, you have to understand the way Paul operates. It's like you will come back in a year as the greatest heel in the history of professional wrestling. You'll be joining them. I mean, you know, Newt Rockney. I said, hey, I'm not that. I know you. It's good. You know, I don't have to come back. No, you don't understand. You have no idea how big we can make this. I said, hey, I don't want to make this out like I'm walking away. You know, don't keep me alive that way. Let it go. But over the years, my legacy kind of like disappeared, and that was really not cool, but I accepted it, I lived with it until Sean said, it's time for you to stop doing that. It's time for you to tell people what the fuck really happened out there.